This is part 2 in the series of family betrayal. This has to do with your spouse is probably not who you think he or she is. And what I mean by that is, for a long time, and especially for the last 100 years, the Freemasons and Eastern Stars have targeted the Christians and the lost people alike for marriage in an effort to both ruin their lives and their salvation. This is one of the reasons we have such a high divorce rate. And I know of a couple of people who have been married 3 times and divorced 2 or 3 times. And little do they know or realize that all 3 of their husbands or wives, as the case may be, were Freemasons or Eastern Stars. And I know that for a fact. My father was not Freemason, but both my first and second stepfathers were. My sister is now married to a Freemason who won't let her speak to me for, what is it now, 15 years? Something like that. And people, they're married, they get married, and maybe it takes until they have a couple of kids, because they like to have children with the unsaved or the Christians or whatever. And depending on if that child is a child of Lucifer or God, they'll use that child as a ploy. And more often than not, the Freemasonic parent will introduce their children to Freemasonry, which is Judaism, which is Luciferianism. Everything, all these things mean the same. Luciferianism is the practice of Judaism at the lodges, and Judaism, if you've done your homework, is Luciferianism. It is the worship of Lucifer. So all these people, they have these marriages that don't turn out. Maybe they've had a couple of kids first, and then suddenly the marriage goes sour for reasons they can't understand it. Like everything was fine one minute, and the next minute it's not. And that's when the Freemasonic spouse decides, okay, either I'm going to divorce this person and marry another Freemason Eastern Star, or I'm going to be on assignment and they've got another lost person or a Christian they want me to target. And when I first became a Christian, I met on the internet another Christian, and I was just blown away when I found out that his wife was not a Christian. And the Bible is very specific about that. Do not be unequally yoked with an unbeliever. Now, let me interrupt myself for a minute. Both my mother's Freemasonic husbands attended church, so you can't go on that. But I will say she was having affairs with these men. Both of them were married when she met them, and both divorced their spouses because she was basically an assignment, and she never knew it. Yeah, never knew it. And if I had ever told my mother, look, I think your husband is a Luciferian, she would have stopped speaking to me. Even though I'm sure in her heart she would have known that, she knew that something was remiss. But just because a person goes to church, and if you've listened to any of my videos, you know that the Freemasons have taken over the churches. So just because somebody goes to church doesn't mean a thing, not anything. So, but this is why we have high divorce, and I know this is true because I can't tell you how many Eastern Stars I know who have targeted either unsaved or Christian men for marriage to ruin their lives. Many, many, many. I've only known of one true Christian, actually two true Christian marriages, and I'm 62 years old. So what does that say about our society? It's very sad. And just people, a lot of people, lost people who are not Luciferian, they're still asleep. They're still blind to what is going on. Because this takeover we're in, this Freemasonic takeover, which is what it is, it's called a soft takeover. And that's when you change the laws slowly but surely to be fascist. And you do it so slowly that people don't realize, your average person doesn't realize that the society is becoming fascist. And that's a fact. People don't realize that now corporations are on an even keel with the government and can claim eminent domain and seize property if they want. If Walmart wanted a certain area on a corner that was undeveloped, and they could seize that property, they could claim eminent domain and get it. They're supposed to recompense the owner something, but it's not always very much. But back to the marriages. This is one of the reasons we have so many lonely people and people who have gone through bad marriages, never understanding why. It's because you have been a target by the Freemasons or the Eastern Stars, and you better wake up to that.